Hello, hello. All right. I am super excited to talk to y'all today because I have some inspiration. And so I'm just going to wait for a second for it to connect. And Happy New Year. So I'm really excited to see you. Let me see here. What's going on with my interwebs? All right. Here we go. Completely transformational. It's called The Power of Shakti, the 18 Pathways of the Energy of the Divine Woman. And I'll tell you more about it, but I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see. And I'm going to read to you. So this is called The Silver Pathway to the Divine. And a little bit of the beginning is about from the Upanishads. Water is the body of life force. That moon is its luminous form. As far as the life force extends, so far extends the waters, and so far does the moon extend. These are all equal and all without limit. One who meditates upon these as finite accesses a finite world, whereas one who meditates upon these as infinite attains an infinite world. So that is a reading from the Upanishads. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the qualities of the moon. And this is from the Rig Veda. And this is a reading as well. O rich in brilliance, with your many and varied illuminations, grant to this singer life-giving energy and wealth, bright and delightful. O luminosity, vast. Such polarization right now. Humanity has polarized on the dark side of the moon, forgetting the light side. So enmeshed have we become in polarity. The moon is making a resurgence with women to redress this balance, to bring us forward into harmony with the silver ray, to ground the feminine path, to remember the moon within our wombs that nurtures, fulfills, and sustains us. So the reading here, and just bear with me, I'm going to just read it straight from the book. The moon was generated from the mind of God, the sun generated from the eye of God. The moon came first, the sun second. The moon, full, whole, perfect, serene, the splendor of the sun, the self, makes it all accessible to us, distilling, purifying, refining us into the silence from where awareness springs, lucid, delighting, refreshing even the most weary of souls, a harbinger and a resting place, full of contentment, ease, and grace, a safe harbor, always full, always united in its 16 phases, ever present, continually creating, moving in the perfect circle of symphonious sound, ever growing. The cause of time. the fuller of desires, the immortal, pure, shining victory, ever present in the fullness of glory, the nectar that grants all enjoyments, the taste that quenches all thirsts, the happiness of all relationships, the juices found in the flow of joy, the dissolver of the poverty of suffering, the protector of the soul. Arising from the ocean of consciousness, you reflect being as it moves into manifestation, an ocean of compassion, soft and silvery, moonbeams and slivers of light illuminating hidden mysteries realized through our devotion. The protector of the world, the remover of suffering, worshipped by the wise, worshipped by the twice-born, those who have died into true self. With white body and golden ornaments, wearing garlands of white flowers, bright formed like jasmine, born of the waters, holding the scepter, the flow of holy law, ever unchanging, serene and still in continual reflection, the giver of the beloved, the flow of the love that soothes all beings, oceans of compassion, tranquil, pure, and serene, always there, always here, reflected in the acts of our own hearts, reflected in our own relations with others, reflected in the stillness of our minds, the reflection of self to self in the eye of oneself. I am the affection between lovers. I am the lover's friend, flooded with the juices of creating, ever flowing, restless with desire, ever forming and unfolding. I am the self-confidence, respect, and honor you give your true self. The first steps to manifestation. I stand firm in consciousness, ever maintaining my position, flowing throughout all creation. No identity, yet all identities. I am the mark by which you measure yourself. I am the step you must take. I am the word you have yet to utter. I am the fullness that contains all. And so now that we have remembered more about the essence of the moon, we can begin to actively work with this splendid, gracious, and loving being that refreshes, delights, and clarifies us. We can do this by breathing the moon into the womb and by sounding the names, sounds, and mantras of the moon as women have done for thousands of years before us in the lineages of ancient mothers and grandmothers throughout history. Every woman is connected to this lineage of birthing in the moon. It simply has to be remembered within you. So this to me is the personification of the overall archetype of the moon as our grandmother, as our ancestral mother, and as an honoring of her as a mother level. And so when I was over in Egypt, I had the experience of sitting under the painting of the goddess Nut, the hieroglyph on the ceiling at the temple of Hathor. Hathor is the divine mother in all her forms. And the Hathors are the ones that are the beings, the tribe of beings, the ones that support our path. But Hathor herself universe, it's a form of DNA, it's the form of a galaxy. And so underneath her depiction on the ceiling at the very rooftop temple at the temple of Hathor of Dandara was so profound. The whole ceiling was painted black, and it contained the first zodiac ever written, ever painted in the world. And then right next to that, across the whole ceiling, was the Cosmic Mother. And so within our womb, we can tap into this knowledge, this creation, because the womb is literally a portal to connect through. And this book that I read to you from has been extremely influential in my path. It popped out to me in a half-price book years ago, probably sometime 2018, 2019. It didn't even have a spine. The original copy I loaned to a friend, and I just received a brand new copy the other day. But it popped out, and even with a white spine, it just told me to read it. And so I'll share more about that later when I talk a little bit more about Tantra and my tantric teachings and what has happened. But this really was a connecting factor because of the readings within this book, connecting to the teachings of the Great Pyramids in Egypt, and specifically the journey that I took allowed me to have really amazing time in this body, inside the actual Great Pyramid, within the 3 major activation places that are within that pyramid. There, you have to go through these tunnels inside the stone to get to them. And one is the well, or the pit, deep into the earth. The first one we went to is the Queen's Chamber, which you have to climb through tunnels and hunch over and climb through and up, 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 and end in the Queen's Chamber, where I was honored connection to resolving those fears, and the King Chamber with the sarcophagus, which I had the honor of actually sitting in and lying down in, which is literally a portal to the cosmos. And within these teachings, this is also depicted in this book. It came in many years before, and I thought that the teachings within this book were actually metaphorical. I had no idea that I actually would be going to the Great Pyramid, to these 3 activation chambers, to actually complete this enlightenment process, this activation. And it also connects us to the 14 star systems. So I have yet to know what that even means, but all I do know is that I'm fucking mind blown by the amount of these teachings that have come through. That's why I'm here to share, is just to share with you the knowledge that is coming through as it comes through. Sometimes I know what it means, sometimes I don't, but then I find other teachings that connect to it, other teachings that connect to it, and so on. So there's these constant links. The other one is, where's my book? The Ancient Teachings of the Sacred Flower of Life. And so I'll share with you soon about that as well. But I wanted to share with you, especially about the teachings of the womb here on this first new moon of 2022. It's so good to see you, Amber, and who else? Monica. Hey, y'all. I'm so glad you're here. So that was just what was on my heart. And it's just a joy to bring this information to you, as my physical body was able to go over there and receive these activations. It's my duty and my honor and my job to bring these teachings to you. And you know, there's an important piece too, is that you can connect to these sacred activations and teachings no matter where you are in the world, from wherever you are, from your yard. You don't, your physical body may not ever have to go to these places to activate, but you can receive those activations through the teachings that I'm learning, that I'm sharing, that you will learn and you'll research on your own. And so there is, don't become discouraged that, you know, you haven't traveled and done these things, because you may not need to. That might not be your dharma, that might not be your path. But through the activations, you are literally transported there through time and space. So with your intention to connect to the moon, to connect to the cycles, hey Ashley, thank you for joining, to connect to all these things that we are learning together, then through that, you're going to receive the activations yourself. And it's literally exactly the same as being there, because time and space does not matter. This 3D body is simply a light body. It is simply a projection if it's enriched your life in any way. And I look forward to seeing you for sure on the next full moon live. For now, I'm signing off, so stay tuned. I do have my deeper teachings available to you on my Telegram channel. If you type in t.me/Temple Sacred Heart, and the link is in my Instagram bio. But again, it's t.me/Temple Sacred Heart. And that's where I'm sharing some stuff that I really cannot share on social media because it's so sacred. So I look forward to seeing you there, and have an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always an honor to see you. Namaste.